I feel like just the creation of this is kind of spooky from an antitrust point of view, no? But I guess, I mean, if it exists. Okay. I'm looking for, what is the evidence that they have of well, okay, I guess these are the things that they're listing. Twitter and Elon Musk. Ooh, don't they mean X? According to one Garm member, Garm recommended that its members stop all paid advertisement on Twitter in response to Mr. Musk's acquisition of the company. Garm's internal documents show that Garm was asked by a member to arrange a meeting and hear more about Garm's perspectives about the Twitter situation and a possible boycott from many companies. Garm also held extensive debriefing discussions around Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, providing ample opportunity for the boycott to be organized. Garm bragged about taking on Elon Musk, and since then, Twitter was 80% below revenue forecasts. I have no idea like what the laws or the regulations would be here. Like, are you allowed to make recommendations on it seems like if the organization is allowed to exist, then it seems like doing boycotts is part of the purview of what they do. But then how is it not illegal if, as an entity that has a bunch of companies as part of it, when they recommend boycotts and stuff? Yeah, I don't know how it's not. I don't know any of the laws or anything here. Spotify and the Joe Rogan Experience, the urging of its members. Like, this keeps saying urging of its members. Does this mean that like Garm makes recommendations so they don't have to boycott? Like, and its steer team threatened Spotify over alleged misinformation on Joe Rogan's podcast, Joe Rogan Experience, because Mr. Rogan stated an opinion that young, healthy people need not receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Garm even admitted it was acting to scope its work on brand safety, explaining to one of its members that brand safety is somewhat separate on Spotify versus, say, Facebook news feeds, because brands aren't being slotted into the podcast. In other words, the companies could easily choose whether to advertise on or avoid Mr. Rogan's podcast, and therefore Garm had no business interfering in Spotify's decision. Brand safety. Because brands aren't being slotted into the podcast. Are you allowed to, if you advertise with, if you were to advertise with Spotify, I wonder, are you allowed to tell them, I don't want my ads showing up on these particular podcasts? I wonder if you're allowed to do that. I wonder if they offer that, I wonder if they even offer that as an option to advertisers. Huh. You can do it on YouTube? I seriously doubt that. My guess is going to be that there are buckets of content that you can advertise with or not advertise with. That'd be my guess. Well, let's see what Spotify says. Ad creation targeting. This is targeting audience members. Let's see. This would be under brand safety, I would imagine. Maybe not. Oh, no, this is to... Oh, okay. I don't know if you can pull ads from a specific... my inkling is going to be that you can't. What would help for the Trump thing? When I start reading through the whole thing, it'll be more obvious what I need, I think. I could have sworn, I remember your advertising buddy talking about targeted ads on various sites, but I could be wrong. I can't remember his name offhand, but he used to be in esports and went advertising. You mean Devin? You can target you can target ads in that, like, you can target demographics of people, and there's probably buckets of content that you can target. So for instance, when you're hosting a podcast on a website, you'll be able to say things like, is this adult only, or is this not adult content, or do you have gambling or whatever included in it? Like, you can check these boxes, and when advertisers go to advertise, my guess is that an advertiser can say, I don't want to be on shows that promote gambling, or I don't want to be on shows that have like adult content. But I doubt as an advertiser you can say, I don't want my ads shown on this particular podcast. I would, because one, I don't know if the feature set would even be built into the back end of Spotify, and two, I don't know what the monetization, what it would look like on Spotify if you were to run into an issue where you started to have a bunch of people, like, imagine you've got like, you're managing advertising inventory and you've got all these different advertisers who are like deselecting like all these individual podcasts. It seems like it'd be a fucking nightmare. It would also be a lot harder for you to sell your platform to people that wanted to work on it. Because what if you went onto a platform and then people just didn't advertise? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I doubt you could. If somebody has an example of that, I'd be curious to see it. Yeah, Gulag, thank you for spamming in all caps. Yes, you can. You can exclude podcasts. It's the same on YouTube and exclude channels. A particular podcast or a particular channel, show me evidence of it. Link me something somewhere. Show me that. Was the adpocalypse about advertisers pulling all their ads, or just complaining about ads on certain things? The adpocalypse on YouTube, I thought, was advertisers pulling all of their ads in like 2017. The YouTube adpocalypse is a site-wide term coined in early 2017 to describe a mass advertiser boycott and withdrawal on YouTube. This was not them just not advertising on certain channels. Do you think it's important to report Elon's activities as he becomes such an influential figure for the present and future of America's politics? A little bit, yeah. I feel like that's an unprecedented circumstance that I think it probably demands a close eye, but nobody can talk about it or gives a fuck about it, so. The fuck? Okay. I'll just read this section, I guess. Documents obtained by the committee show that Garm told its members to boycott advertising on Twitter after Mr. Musk's purchase of the platform on October 28, 2022. According to documents provided to the committee, Ørsted, a Danish energy company and Garm member, contacted Garm as early as November 4th, 2022, to ask Garm if it's possible to arrange a meeting and hear more about Garm's perspectives about the Twitter situation and a possible boycott from many companies. Okay, so a member of Garm is contacting Garm to see what they would recommend. Seems ordinary, I guess. In a subsequent email exchange in May of 2023, an employee of Ørsted discussed the company's decision to take off all our paid advertisement on Twitter due to brand safety concerns and asked Garm what it would advise Ørsted to do and what are other global advertisers doing. Have they come back to the platform, or are they still off? Documents provided to the committee do not reflect whether Garm replied in writing to Ørsted on April 14th, 2023. However, an Ørsted employee sent another email to WFA employees, including Mr. Rakovitz, stating, based on your recommendations, we have stopped all paid advertisement on Twitter. This Ørsted employee explained that it is an important platform for us to reach our audience, so we would like to consider going back. On April 18th, Mr. Rakovitz replied to Ørsted denying that Garm or WFA made the recommendation to stop paid advertising on Twitter as alleged by Ørsted because these are decisions that concern competitively sensitive information. Hi, Rob. I'm reaching out to you to ask if it's possible to arrange a meeting, hear more about your perspective about the Twitter situation, possible workout. Okay. In a transcript interview with the committee, Mr. Rakovitz denied recommending that Orsted stop advertising on Twitter and claimed to be unaware of anyone at Garm speaking to anyone at Orsted during this period. Mr. Rakovitz's denial of any wrongdoing in the face of clear written evidence is not credible for many reasons. This sentence is a huge red flag. His denial of any wrongdoing. So it seems like what he denied was recommending that Orsted stop advertising on Twitter, and he was unaware of any, or he claimed to be unaware of anyone at Garm speaking. Okay, so first, the committee initially contacted Garm about potentially anti-competitive conduct on March 22nd, 2023, between the date of Orsted's initial email to Garm, seeking advice on ceasing paid advertising on Twitter, and the date of Mr. Rakovitz's subsequent denial. It is not surprising that Mr. Rakovitz sent an email disclaiming his recommendation for a boycott after being put on notice that Garm's actions were of interest to the committee. I hope there's way stronger stuff in here. What a garbage fuck paragraph. Okay. In addition, Mr. Rakovitz provided the committee with inaccurate information during his transcribed interview about his discussions with Garm members regarding Mr. Musk's acquisition of the platform on monthly Garm community calls among Garm members. Specifically, during his transcribed interview, Mr. Rakovitz was asked whether the Twitter acquisition was discussed on a community call. Mr. Rakovitz denied it was, testifying, no, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities, 105 and 106. Rakovitz's testimony. Oh, fuck. Is this public anywhere or no?
Customers to see their ads where and
okay, we're looking for a community call. Okay, I don't see a community call written in here. What was discussed was Twitter's priorities. Whoa, that's way too much. Priorities? Priorities. Fuck. Is this not the... This is on July 10th.
and when they expect them, and to make purchases.
I think
Was that Ben Shapiro?
Analysis.
Americans, at least Americans.
Oh, it was. Oh, shit. I thought I just had a voice deaf moment.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. I feel like I've seen clips of this before. I don't remember what Ben Shapiro was talking about. Is there a timestamp on the citation? Oh, at 26, 2 through 11. What do you think this is? 26... 23, 16 to 17. Do you think 23 seconds? Or I'm sorry, 23 minutes, 16 to 17 seconds? There's no way, right? It's not even turned on yet. Fuck. This must not be the right detail. Or this might not be the right video. Do you have time to go into a detailed explanation of why Kamala's selection isn't undemocratic? Every conservative I talk to brings it up, and I don't know the counter. Whether or not it's democratic or not, that's a red herring. You don't even bite on that question. There's a primary process that both parties go through in order to select who they want their candidate to be, that they will throw up in the general election to fight the other person. For people that are complaining about like whether or not it's anti-democratic that Biden stepped down and passed his delegates on to Kamala, that is the process that's as written. Democracy or democratic things aren't like the big concern of the parties in the primary season. Like, if you want to be critical of anti-democracy, it doesn't even make sense. We're not talking about the government yet. These are just private political parties that are choosing who they want to run in an election. If you want to be critical of anti-democratic things that happen in the primary process, there's a lot of things to be critical of. For instance, the use of caucuses. Caucuses are really fucking weird. And the fact that we still do them in states of primaries is weird. Some people could argue that's kind of anti-democratic. The ordering that we have of states is really fucking weird. Why the fuck are Iowa and New Hampshire so important? Because of the arbitrary process through which the primaries happen in these states, right? But they're primaries. It's not like there's not like a coup happening, or it's not necessarily anti-democratic or like illegal or anything crazy like that. These are just like how the parties have arranged themselves to do their primary processes. There's nothing anti-democratic about it. Like, this is part of what if you don't like it, you don't have to vote for him in the general. No one's forcing you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I find it interesting that earlier today, a congresswoman on the other side of the...
Okay, fuck. If anybody can find this I would love to find this video. This is the Senate Judiciary Committee. Wait, do you think it might have been a testimony of the Senate Judiciary Committee?
For more on this, CBSN political contributor Molly Hooper.
4 years ago, Michael Horowitz. No, this is not what we're looking for. Whatever. Whatever. Okay. Well, he said, no, we were discussing Twitter's priorities. So here's what I don't like. Regarding Mr. Musk's acquisition of platform. Okay, did you discuss on the monthly Garm community calls among Garm members whether the Twitter acquisition was discussed on the community call? He denied it, saying, no, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities. And then the next paragraph says, however, documentary evidence provided to the committee contradicts Mr. Rakowitz's denial and shows that Mr. Musk's acquisition of Twitter was discussed extensively with Garm members. This is not a community call, but maybe they're going to go on to say that. In December of 2022, in an email exchange with the subject line, support to Orsted about the Twitter situation, discussing a meeting between Garm and Mr. Musk, an employee at Orsted asked WFA employees, including Mr. Rakowitz, for a meeting to learn more about how the conversation went and how you see the situation now and expectations going forward. Mr. Rakowitz responded to the Orsted employee that the meeting with Mr. Musk is likely to come up and be discussed in the community call on Thursday next week. Can we discuss then and there? This still isn't. Do they have access to these community call? It's a community call. I imagine somebody's like reporting it or something, right? Like, what do we? Hold on, maybe it'll come up in a paragraph or two. The next month, in January 2023, in an email to a company looking to join Garm, a WFA employee specifically highlighted Mr. Musk's acquisition of Twitter as a topic of discussion among Garm members. WFA wrote, being part of the community gives you access to our monthly community calls. We offer a round up of current work and tackle recent brand safety issues that may have occurred. Recent example being extensive debriefing discussion around Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. The evidence of an email by Mr. Rakowitz telling Orsted that the Twitter situation we discussed on a community call, and then the next month an email from a different WFA employee stating that there was an extensive debriefing discussion around Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, fatally undercuts Mr. Rakowitz's claim that the acquisition was not discussed on any community call. The question was, acquisition of the platform monthly. Okay. Specifically, during his transcribed interview, Mr. Rakowitz was asked whether the Twitter acquisition was discussed on a community call. Mr. Rakowitz denied that it was, testifying, no, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities. I want to see this conversation. Oh, thank God. Thank you so much. Okay. There's specific instances you remember. I think there were two members who have raised it. But again, my policy, my general, the way that I try to operate is abiding by our competition law and making sure that we shut any of those conversations down. So what discussion did Garm have about the acquisition with its members? So the conversation actually around the acquisition was had directly with Twitter, and it was really around making sure that there was an understanding from a brand safety perspective, transparency, business continuity, and understanding sort of the forward work that Twitter or X was willing to do. So that was with Twitter. What discussions were with Garm members? With Garm members, I think the only thing that it was up for Twitter, and they voluntarily discussed some of their priorities. We don't speak on behalf of our members. Was the Twitter acquisition discussed on a community call? No, that was discussed. What was discussed was Twitter's priorities post Elon Musk's acquisition of the company or as a result. I think during the transition, but again, I go back to our compliance law. We don't discriminate any of the platforms that are members of our companies in our members in terms of country of origin, management laws, or ownership structures. Okay, we don't discriminate any of the platforms that are members or our companies and our members. When they say we don't discriminate any of the platforms that are members, is he referring to platforms like Twitter here? Or any companies and our members, and then companies are the people that are their clients? I'm not sure what the structure of this is. So did Garm make any recommendations to its members about Twitter? Absolutely not. It'd be inappropriate from a competition law perspective, and we try to avoid any recommendations. We shared them only internally with our steer team. Okay, what is this? I assume it's public. Okay, they're different. Correct. Can you list it? Okay, off. Survey its members about Elon Musk's acquisition. Yes, we did. What did you do with the results of that survey? We shared them only internally within the SEER team and then also with Twitter to just help sort of frame some of the concerns, legitimate concerns, in making sure that there was fact-based conversation. So yeah, what did the SEER team do with those surveys results? Nothing. What did Twitter do with the survey results? I think they used it to help frame some of the work that they ended up doing. Did Garm ask its member to stop advertising on Twitter as a result of? No, absolutely not. We actually did the opposite. You did the opposite. What do you mean by did the opposite? We spoke up against any calls for boycotts, also within our competition law compliance. I wonder if they looked for or cited any evidence of that. I mean, this report wouldn't do that. Occurred. Recent example being extensive debriefing discussion, brand safety support for our support, and it's not the exact doc, but here's some of the exhibits. All right, hold on. Is this the hearing you're looking for? Probably not. Oh wait, actually, wait, is it? Well, if we have the whole transcription here, we don't actually need this.
Committee will come to order without objection. The chair is auzed to declare a recess at any time. We welcome everyone to today's hearing on collusion in the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. The chair is now recognized for an opening statement. Section 1 of the Sherman Act make.
This just seems like a transcribed deposition, basically. This one is too late. Yeah, this is something different, I think. Like this line of questioning is, was the Twitter acquisition discussed on a community call? No, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities. Post Elon Musk's acquisition of the company, or as a result, I think during the transition, like some part of this conversation must have included the fact that there was like an Elon Musk acquisition, because there's going to be, it's a transition. How do you not discuss that? But, in this report, they're making it sound like they had like an extensive conversation about the acquisition, but it's hard to understand like what's even being alleged here. In addition to merely discussing the acquisition, in November 22nd, Garm conducted a survey of its members about the views of Mr. Musk's acquisition of Twitter and shared this information in the context of a boycott on Twitter. During a transcribed interview with the committee, Mr. Rack was asked what he did with the survey results, and he testified that he shared them only internally within the steer team, and then also with Twitter, just sort of to just help sort of frame some of the concerns, legitimate concerns, and making sure that it was a fact-based conversation. Documents received by the committee, however, show that Mr. Rakovitz created material for the attendees of a WFA executive committee meeting that included some of the survey results. For the attendees of a WFA executive committee meeting. Who would be attending this? Would it be people that would be part of the community calls? In addition, an email from Orsted dated November 14th, which Orsted asked for a meeting to share Garm's reflections and results of the survey, suggests that Garm share the survey results with Orsted too. This has likely come up and be discussed in the community call on Thursday. Can we discuss that in there? Thanks. Hello, hope everything's well. I know you planned to have a meeting yesterday with Elon Musk. Is it possible to arrange a meeting next week to learn more about how that conversation went and how you see the situation now and expectations going forward? Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful weekend. Where's the reference to the survey result? Asked for a meeting to share Garm's reflections and results of the survey. 113 at 2:09. Is it something, another exhibit somewhere? Do you defend this violent rhetoric from the Dems? Probably. I think they were saying they were discussing facts of the matter of the transition and not possible motives of Elon. Yeah, Chris, that's what it feels like. Yeah, but obviously in this judiciary report, it's being phrased in a way more aggressive and malicious way, right? Malevolent way. Garm's document suggests that the results of the survey, shared at least with the WFA Executive Committee, Orsted, and on the Garm community call, would have signaled to members to pull their advertising from Twitter. In a document prepared for the WFA Executive Committee, the survey results show that 86% of ad buyers feel that the change in Twitter's ownership is a significant issue. Further, 71% of advertisers and agencies feel that change in ownership will have a negative or very negative impact on Twitter. This is a 422-page deposition. Jesus Christ. In his transcribed interview, Mr. Rakovitz denied organizing a boycott or recommending that Garm members stop advertising on Twitter. However, he took credit for Twitter's revenue decline in internal Garm documents produced to the committee. Hi, both. This is good. I did some tweaking on the edges to help contextualize who we are and what we are doing. I'd like to point out that nowhere in this email is the "you may recognize my name" from being some idiot who challenged Musk on brand safety issues. Since then, they are 80% below revenue forecasts. Cowboy hat face. This is, I mean, it could just be that he predicted that they would have a massive revenue slip, right? Testified in his transcript interview that he was not actually taking credit for the revenue decline, but instead he was making a self-effacing joke about a tweet he posted that had gone sideways, meaning, as he explained, it had gotten visibility, and that was probably not in Mr. Rakovitz's best interests. Internal Garm documents, however, show that the tweet in question, posted on October 31st, 2022, was not viewed by Garm as ill-advised. Instead, Garm celebrated the news coverage the next day, with Mr. Rakovitz writing, "This is awesome. This is..." Okay. We'll see if they get more subpoenas, if anything real comes out of this. Ugh. Okay. We have these guys. Fuck. What is this?
Joining us now, former senior White House advisor to President Trump, Stephen Miller, along with Florida Congressman Michael Walz. Congressman, I've been saying it's not if, it's when. It's going to happen. I mean, it's not when, it's if. I keep missing it. It's going...
Wait, did he just correct himself incorrectly? Sorry, hold on.
Along with Florida Congressman Michael Walz. Congressman, I've been saying it's not if, it's when. It's going to happen. I mean, it's not when, it's if. I keep missing it.
I think he corrected himself. He was right the first time, but...
It's going to happen. In other words, they have allowed terrorists from Iran, from Syria, from Egypt, from Afghanistan, from Venezuela, from China, from Russia, into this country. We have terrorists in this country plotting, planning, and scheming. It's a matter of when. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right, Sean. And what really blows my mind is to see Chris Wray, the FBI director, come to Congress repeatedly behind closed doors and ring the alarm bells. And I tell him every time, don't cover your rear end by coming to us. Drive over to DHS, drive over to the White House, and tell them to close the damn border, period. But, Sean, let's just add to the stats in this in Jim Jordan's report. 2,100 Afghans, 33,000 Chinese, 541 Iranians, 520 Syrians, over 3,100 Uzbeks. And we know the ISIS smuggling ring has sent over 400 people in, 8 of whom were rolled up in 3 different cities, plotting and planning an attack on the eve of the Pulse nightclub hit. You're right. We're going to get hit.
The Pulse nightclub hit. Wait, the shooting from was this 8 years ago? Dude, my sense of time is destroyed. Wait, no, it was. I thought this guy was a lone wolf. I thought this guy wanted to be claimed by ISIS. He tried to put that statement out, but he just wasn't. He was a fucking loser. Am I wrong on this? I didn't do like a deep dive into this. That's just what I remembered. I don't think there was any. I don't think there was any connection with him to like ISIS or anything. But okay.
We're all watching it happen in real time, and the blood is on Biden's hands, is on Harris's hands, and is on Mayorkas's hands. And I mean, it is just the most frustrating thing I've ever experienced in my professional career. We're defunding everything we can, but
yeah, this guy was born in New York. I mean, like, what the fuck? What are we even What are we even talking about here? He acted alone. Nobody helped him, and he was born in America. Why are we invoking this?
We've got to stop it.
Oh shit! Lauren Southern's writing the Fox News scripts now.
And I don't know what else to do except get Trump elected.
Stephen Miller, you get the last word tonight.
This is infuriating, enraging, disqualifying, and unforgivable. Sean, 99 terrorists were in Border Patrol custody. Border Patrol had them. Border Czar Harris and Joe Biden set them free. Now they're in your cities. Now they're in your communities. Now they're in your neighborhoods. As you said, they're plotting. They're scheming. They're planning. The same Democrats who made your little kids wear masks in school say that foreign terrorists have free entry into this country. They do not care about you. They do not care about your family. They do not care about America. They just want an open border no matter how much blood is spilled as a result. This is heinous. The two incompetents in the White House are leading us on the road to ruin.
Okay. What are the chances that crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the U.S., whose presidency was unconstitutionally stolen from him by Kamabla? What does Kamabla mean? What is this insult supposed to stand for? Obama? Obabla? Kamabla? Kamabla Barack Hussein Obama. Crazy Nancy Pelosi. Why are we spam capsing his Hussein? Crazy Nancy Pelosi, shifty Adam Schiff, crying Chuck Schumer, and others on the lunatic left crashes the Democrat National Convention and tries to take back the nomination, beginning with challenging me to another debate. He feels that he made a historically tragic mistake by handing over the U.S. presidency, a coup, to the people in the world he most hates, and he wants it back now. Okay. Jesus.
In a test, they had a chance to appeal that to avoid being banned, and they chose not to appeal it. That is so damning.
They chose not to appeal it. He's talking about the fact that the IBA tested both athletes in 2022 and 2023. I believe they appealed the first test, which I don't know how they appealed that and they won if they have XY chromosomes, and they didn't appeal the second test. But the second test that they didn't appeal was by the time the IBA had their membership from the IOC officially withdrawn. So it's not that surprising, maybe, that they just didn't even bother appealing. Maybe they felt like they weren't going to compete in IBA stuff. I don't know if any competitor leagues have stepped up, but like, would you say that's damning?
And even if it isn't, even if it was all terribly unfair, as Cenk and Wajah would like us to...
Like, if you tested a simple chromosome test or something in 2022, why did you let them compete the next year? That's a big question that I want the IBA stands, okay, our little Russian Sputniks, to answer. If they tested them in 2022, why were they allowed to compete in 2023?
To believe, do another damn test then. Show the world you're actually biological women. And there's a reason they're not doing it.
I thought about this more last night about, like, why wouldn't you just do a test? And I think that I haven't gone through all the, believe it or not, I'm not an Olympic athlete. The more I thought about it, I don't know if there's anybody that's competed in anything that does testing. My guess now would actually be, if you're an athlete, you probably never submit to a test unless it is demanded by the league, because you're probably setting a really, really, really nasty standard, a really bad standard by doing so. And I wonder if every other athlete would look at you like, The fuck are you doing? Why the fuck would you do this? This isn't demanded of us. Now you're basically you're creating the expectation that are we all going to have to test to be women now because you decided to do it? If the IOC, if the Olympic Committee demands that you test for it, then you test for it. If that's a new regulation rule you follow, then fine. But you don't just randomly submit fucking test results until you've appeased like random haters online. Why the fuck would you ever submit yourself to that? The only people that should matter here would be the Olympic Committee. And if you want, you can petition the Olympic Committee to change their rules that require different testing. But why would you go to the individual athletes? I would be surprised if any individual athlete just like consensually like, oh yeah, just test all my shit, knock yourself out, you know?
Riley.
Absolutely. We see a lot of information being pushed out there that these are just cisgender women with elevated levels of testosterone. The IBA made it very clear.
The IOC allows low-test males to compete in women's sports, though? What? Source?
They did not do testosterone level testing. They never did that, not even one time. We don't know.
Riley.
Absolutely. We see a lot of information being pushed out there that these are just cisgender women with elevated levels of testosterone. The IBA made it very clear. They did not do testosterone level testing. They never did that, not even one time. We don't know what these athletes' testosterone levels are. What they did do was test the karyotypes of
So where can somebody link me a source on that? Besides the one statement that Kremlev made one time, or the one post he made on Telegram. Has the IBA ever released this? Is there a thing that I'm missing? Can somebody link me that somewhere?
These athletes, the only requirement was that these athletes had XX chromosomes, and they failed the test. No, they haven't come out and explicitly said these athletes have XY chromosomes.
Then why are you saying that?
But that's because the Algerian and Taiwanese Olympic Committee have refused the IBA to release these results.
Why would the Olympic Committee be able to refuse the IBA release the results when the IBA isn't even recognized anymore by the Olympic Committee? What? Why? That doesn't even make any sense. Why the fuck would the IBA even care? They're not even recognized by the Olympic Committee anymore. This all sounds like bullshit.
That's because the Algerian and Taiwanese Olympic Committee have refused the IBA to release these results. I mean, the requirement was to have XX chromosomes, and they failed that. Therefore, let's use intuitive thinking here. Let's use our brains. We all have them. That means they have a Y chromosome. And if you have a Y chromosome, you are a male. I mean, do we need to send like half of the population back to 6th grade biology?
You just admitted that there is no such test.
They just admitted there is no such test. And they failed. The requirement was 2 XX chromosomes, and they failed. Because of the Taiwanese and the Algerian Olympic Committee, they're not allowed to explicitly say these athletes have XY.
You know what?
Go watch the 30-minute. It's a 30-minute, very brief
You're going to keep saying everyone's lying, but the answer is just do another test and show us. And there's a reason they're not doing it.
Okay. The Israeli Air Force launched strikes earlier tonight on Hezbollah targets within the towns of Yarun and Kfar Kela in southern Lebanon near the border with Israel. Damn.
Twist my point. You've been friends with Destiny for way too long. Even though I've disagreed with you on some issues, I always admire your honesty until today. And this is what happens when you are too emotional to understand the logical problem before you, Clint. The problem is a woman who supports men fighting women so much, she decided to enter the ring with a man. She lost. Publicly stated that she forfeited because her nose hurt, not because Khalif was a man. Then said, I hope Khalif makes it to the end and is happy. That is a progressive feminist who is advocating for men to fight women. And you said you were pulling your membership and your super chats from me for calling her out for supporting that. Your actions today send a signal that if progressive feminists support men fighting women, you will defend them if you're sad they got hit because of their own will. Okay, so be it. By all means.
Okay. How do you feel about Ayla's rape chart? The rape spectrum. Having sex with an unenthusiastic coworker. Or worker, sorry. What haven't we? Is this the same one from like a long time ago? I feel like we saw this a long time ago. You said shouldn't stealthing be higher? Sneakily removing a condom during sex. On a scale from 0 to 100, she puts that at 73, which is, she puts that as worse than, or the survey puts that as worse than uninterested. Reserved person gets very drunk on date. The other person is sober. They have sex. Having sex. Person A begins. Hello?
Wanted your opinion on something.
Sure, go. I got like 1 minute. What do you got?
Sure. So, what do you think of the idea of two really, really hot identical twins, women, having a lesbian relationship and fucking?
I don't care. What do you mean?
You don't think that'd be hot?
Oh, yeah, probably. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty hot. Do you know of any porn videos like that?
No, I don't usually watch twin porn videos.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find any.
Oh, well, good luck finding them.
All right, well, take care, dude.
Have fun. Okay. Somebody said, do I feel like this should be higher? Do you mean like lower on the chart or higher on the number? Personally, I feel like sneakily removing a condom during sex, that, if anything, I would say this would get, and even like, this is a really, really, really bad thing to do, I think. This is one of the, I say is it one of the worst. There's a lot of bad things you can do with the rape, with rape stuff. This is a really, really, really bad thing to do. It's bad, but is it sexual abuse? I don't know if I would consider this sexual abuse. I think I might just consider this full-on rape. If you're fucking somebody and you both have the understanding and it's pretty explicit that somebody's using a condom and then somebody reaches down and sneakily removes it during sex, I think I would just consider that full-on rape. That's a pretty egregious violation of what you're consenting to insofar as sexual activity goes. If a woman lies about birth control, then I would consider that to be very close to the same level. It'd be slightly not as bad because it wouldn't affect like STDs and stuff, but I think that that's close. That wasn't your stance 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was pro stealthing. Sounds hard to believe, my friend. Didn't you get into a huge Twitter fight arguing the opposite of this a few years ago? What was the stealthing discourse about? I thought it was the opposite. The big disagreement that I had 2 years ago, the huge disagreement that I had 2 years ago was when I said that some person complained that they'd gotten, it sounded like they'd complained initially that they'd gotten stealthed like 3 or 4 times, so they didn't feel comfortable saying anything. And my thing was, if that's happening to you, you need to stop having casual sex. That was the huge fight. It's possible that I said maybe, I mean, I'm saying I consider this rape. Maybe back then I said, oh, that would be like heavy sexual assault or something. I don't know, maybe the class, but it's still a really, really bad thing. I'm pretty sure back then I would have said it's a really bad thing too, but. You said it was tantamount to rape, but it wasn't rape. Oh, okay, sure.
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
Oh my God. I don't think this is real. How do they already have the video camera at his house? I bet this was staged.
The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, It would be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
Well, let me tell you, I have just the utmost respect for you. I have really enjoyed our work together. You understand our country. You have dedicated yourself to our country in so many different and beautiful ways. And we're going to do this. We're going to win. And we're going to unify our country. And
You know what a rule they should have, a law they should make, for no good reason, just to fuck with people and to fuck with the country. It should be an FEC regulation that when you go to run for president, the only possible way you are ever allowed legally to choose your vice president is you have to pick who you want, who you think would be a good VP, and you have to propose it to them in public. You have to get down on one knee. You have to open a box that says, "Will you be my VP?" Just so we can have those moments. Not for any practical reason, but just because why the fuck not? It'd be funny. Straight guys with bi partners for Harris Walz. Why? This is a meme, right? Wait, what's happening here? Is this? I feel like this would be so fucking uncomfortable when you walk. Like it would like chafe and scrape against your ankles all the time. Or is there something? Is this like a style, or is there something else going on here? How come you guys haven't been doing Q&As on anything else? That was part of the big appeals to subbing through Patreon for me. What, you mean like call-ins? I think we do call-ins, don't we? Are you planning canvassing this election? I think we are. Maybe. We'll see. Kamala is live in Philly. Okay, you guys want to watch the rally? Here you go.
I stand.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. Oh my God, they got Joe Biden to come.
I stand before you today to proudly announce I am now officially the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. And so now we got some work to do. We need to move to the general election and win that. And to all the friends, listen, we also need to level set. We are the underdogs in this race. But we have the momentum, and I know exactly what we are up against. Now, many of you know, before I was elected vice president or elected a United States senator, I was an elected attorney general, and before that, elected district attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who scammed consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, Donald Trump's type. So, but let me just say, hold on.
Hold on.
I will say, okay, it is a bit of a funny role reversal to go from Donald Trump running against Hillary Clinton, who is under investigation for emails, for him to be chanting, lock her up, for him to say that somebody under FBI investigation should never be even allowed to even run for office, to now we have the flip side of that, of like a former DA and attorney general is running against a guy who's actually been convicted of 34 felonies and is potentially facing 300 court cases. That's a pretty funny role reversal.
This campaign, our campaign, is not just a fight against Donald Trump. Our campaign, this campaign, is a fight for the future. It's a fight for the future. In Pennsylvania, we fight for a future with affordable housing, affordable health care, affordable child care, paid leave.
Did you read The Road to Unfreedom by Timothy Snyder? Nope.
Fight for a future where we build a broad-based economy, where every American has the opportunity to own a home, to start a business, and to build wealth. We fight for a future where we bring down prices that are still too high and lower the cost of living for America's families, so that they have a chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. We fight for a future where we defend our most fundamental freedoms, the freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body, not having her government tell her what to do. I love you too. So here's the thing.
That abortion thing is such a huge killer fucking... It's just such a not good thing for Republicans, in my opinion. I've always been of the mindset. I've always said that, like, Democrats should just drop the assault weapon shit. I think it's unpopular. It doesn't even serve their interests much. And I always felt like Republicans should just drop the abortion shit. It's way too divisive of an issue. Like, if you're a Christian, you don't want one, don't get it. But, like, why try to legislate this at the state level? Or, like, it's just such a bad optics. But I don't know.
Since the day that I announced my candidacy, I set out to find a partner who can help build this brighter future. A leader who will help unite our nation and move us forward. A fighter for the middle class. A patriot who believes, as I do, in the extraordinary promise of America. A promise.
One thing that I loved about Biden, and I guess he's too old, he can't carry the message or whatever, but Kamala's continuing. I love this. And I love, because the Republicans have pivoted to such a party of negativity and Democrats have capitalized on this, I love the positive American sentiment. One of my favorite things that Joe Biden would say over and over again is, what did he say? It's never a good decision to bet against America, or it's never a wise decision to bet against the American economy. I like that. That's good. True. We are awesome. Amen.
A promise of freedom, opportunity, and justice, not just for some, but for all.
Oh, yeah, we own the finish line. True. Is there any gun issue that is too far for a Democrat? I think focusing on like some type, there is some middle ground legislation that I feel like most Americans, I think polls decently, like some type of more extensive background check or whatever, or some type of red flag law thing, I think most people would probably be okay with. I feel like that must be the case. Like even if it's temporary, like if somebody files a restraining order against you, maybe you've got like a 3-month hold before you can buy a firearm, right? So you're being deprived without due process a little bit, but I think there's a really compelling interest at the state. I think that would survive like any kind of like scrutiny. And I think these are things that like most Americans would say, like, okay, you've got a restraining order. Like, as surprising as it is, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because the online discourse is so fucked. But then also, this is a very small selection. Like, I've spoken to Republicans in real life who seem to be okay with red flag laws. There was at least one guy that I spoke to about it, but he had like a personal example of it, of like some guy that was abusive to his girlfriend. She left, got a restraining order. He went, bought a gun, and then killed both of them, like her, like murder-suicide the next day. So he's like, yeah, maybe red flag laws are okay. Red flag laws are basically laws where you can basically put a hold on somebody, from buying a firearm for some period of time, basically. Depending on how you structure these, I think that most people are okay. I think most people are okay with that type of thing, or a little bit of more of an extensive background check. I think people are okay with these things, but like the full-on like banning assault weapons and all the crazy restrictions is just fucking dumb. Yeah.
So Pennsylvania, I'm here today because I found such a leader. Governor Tim Walz of the great state of Minnesota.
That's not what red flag laws are. Red flag laws are a way to restrict people from purchasing firearms without requiring like a criminal conviction. It's some way of like flagging somebody. What do you mean, red flag law? Red flag laws provides procedural safeguards to ensure that no firearm is removed without due process while helping to prevent tragedies like the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, and the racist mass shooting. Complete ERPO application, any other necessary documents. Submit your documents to the respondent's local Supreme Court. That day, the judge will review and decide if an ERPO should be issued. If granted, police will immediately remove guns from the respondent and bar them from purchasing guns. Wait, you're banned. Email me if you want to get unbanned with something that contradicts what I just said. Fucking retard. Why banning assault rifles but keeping hunting and handguns is dumb. Assault rifles were always meant for the military to kill people. Why is that bad though? Leaving handguns and hunting rifles. All guns are killing people. That's what guns. It's kind of what guns do. But like, people just don't kill people that much with assault rifles. Who cares? It's just like such a low kill count every year. It's like 300 to 500 people. It's like a drop in the bucket compared to everything else. But there's so much political capital that's expended on assault weapons and rifles. It's just not worth it.
So, to those who know him best, Tim is more than a governor. To his wife.
He was probably commenting that you didn't include they remove already owned firearms as well. Oh, well, he should have been able to get a restriction on somebody purchasing new weapons or whatever. If they already have a weapon, then yes, you might be able to go in. These are all structured in different ways, but you might be able to go in and prevent them from getting it too. The point is that if somebody's throwing up red flags, you've got a way of preventing them from accessing firearms. Yeah.
When he is a husband, to his kids, Hope and Gus, he is a dad. To his fellow veterans, he is Sergeant Major Walz. To the people of southern Minnesota, for 12 years, he was congressman. To his former high school students, he was Mr. Walz. And to his former high school football players, he was...
Why is it such a common talking point? Are most viral shootings with rifles? I think that the most exceptional shootings are with rifles, and it's the scariest type of weapon, right? Like wasn't the Uvalde shooting with a rifle? The Vegas thing was with a rifle. Like the rifles are just like scary and they stand out in the big events. But in the overall grand scheme of like gun deaths in the United States, which I think aggressively or offensively, they're around 20,000, I think, firearm murders a year. And then it's another 40,000 suicides, I think. But yeah.
Coach. And in 91 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by another name, Vice President of the United States. So America, for some folks, they're just getting to know Coach Walz's story. And I'll tell you, he is the proud product of a middle-class family in rural Nebraska. He is a veteran who served our nation in uniform for more than 2 decades.
Wait, where in Nebraska?
As a member of the Army National Guard, and he went to college on the GI Bill. He is someone who, long before he entered politics, worked as a teacher.
Oh yeah, Westmont, that's right.
When Coach Walz and his wife Gwen moved from his native Nebraska to Minnesota nearly 30 years ago, they both took jobs at the local high school.
The Vegas guy used 24 different guns, including 14 rifles going to the wiki. Yeah, that guy was fucking decked out. That dude was like John Wick. I'm pretty sure he like loaded a whole bunch of rifles. He had them like all set out on the windowsills. And then when it was like go time, it was like opening the windows, like unloaded all from one rifle, put it down, picked up the next, unloaded all. That guy was wild. And we never learned anything else about that. That was wild too. What the fuck? What happened with that guy? Why did he do it? Jesus.
Walz taught social studies. Gwen taught English.
Isn't he still alive? No way. I thought he killed himself. No?
After school, Tim was the linebackers coach for the football team. Where I've heard the stories about he had a knack for using the game of football to teach life lessons. He saw the potential in kids who sometimes didn't even see.
How did he carry that many duffel bags full of guns to the top of the hotel? That's a good question, actually. I'm adding that. Vegas shooting story. That because he had a lot of shit. Wikipedia Vegas shooter. That dude was just. This is wild. He fired off more than 1,000 rounds, killed 60 people, wounded at least 413 others. According to his girlfriend, Paddock repeatedly cased Las Vegas Village from different windows. In their room, when they stayed at the Mandalay Bay a month before the shooting, Paddock also may have considered attacking previous events. He had researched large-scale venues. Let's see. Paddock's internet search terms from mid-September included SWAT weapons, ballistics chart 308, SWAT Las Vegas, and do police use explosives? Paddock arrived at Mandalay Bay on September 25th and booked into room 32-135, a complimentary room on the 32nd floor. 4 days later, he also checked into the directly connected room 32-134. Both suites overlook the site at the concert at Las Vegas Village. During his stay at Mandalay Bay, Paddock spent much of his time gambling, usually at night. He interacted with employees more than 10 times, including twice on the day of the shooting. All the interactions were normal in nature. With help from the hotel bellman, he brought 5 suitcases to his room on September 25th, 7 on the 26th, 2 on the 28th, 6 on the 30th, and 2 on October 1st. On September 30th, he placed do not disturb signs on the doors of both rooms. Oh no. It was literally...
Whoa, no heavy lifting. I got it. No, it's okay. I got it.
Oh no.
Jesus. We got in there, cinder blocks.
$500,000 in cash.
That's the spirit.
Surveillance images show Stephen Paddock calmly checking in at the Mandalay Bay's VIP desk. It's Monday, September 25th, nearly a week before the shooting. After eating alone at a sushi restaurant, Paddock drives his car to valet, where a bellman unloads 5 suitcases. Police say Paddock stays with the luggage and asks to use the service elevators instead of guest elevators, a request that's not uncommon. Later that night, he leaves the hotel with 2 suitcases, driving an hour to his home in Mesquite. It's a routine that repeats itself. Tuesday, Paddock returns to Mandalay Bay, where a different bellman helps him move 7 more suitcases. Thursday, he brings a white container and 3 more bags, and over the weekend, 2 more trips home. In all, at least 21 suitcases plus smaller bags are brought to his 32nd floor suite, as Paddock gradually amasses 23 guns and thousands of rounds of ammo.
Undiscovered killers who are planning things.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Go about their preparation in a pretty mundane, routine fashion.
Between the trips home, he's seen playing video poker and chatting with employees. The video was released by MGM Resorts, which says Stephen Paddock gave no indication of what he planned to do, and his interactions with staff and overall behavior were all normal. The final image shows Paddock walking off an elevator Sunday, nearly 10 hours before the massacre. What the footage doesn't explain is why he did it. Joe Fryer, NBC News.
24 firearms, a large quantity of ammunition, and numerous high-capacity magazines capable of holding up to 100 rounds apiece were found in the suite. 14 of the firearms were 223 Remington. How much weaker these fuck me. These can be loaded into rifles that can fire 5.56, right? But the velocity is a lot slower. Am I correct on that? Why would you use this over just 5.56 rounds? Or is 223 the same? Is it the exact same thing? Hold on. Now people, I can't ask. I should never ask. I should never ask chat questions about anything. My bad. Okay. Interesting. All right. People are saying they're the same. I'm pretty sure you can fire, I think you can fire a 223 from most weapons that are chambered in 5.56, but I don't think you can slot a 5.56 round into a 223 and fire because the pressure is higher. I think you can blow the rifle up. But if you want to do that because you're typing in chat and you think they're both the exact same, knock yourself out. I don't give a fuck. 3 manufactured by Colt, blah, 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 chambered on, and the others were 308. The AR-10 rifles were equipped with various telescopic sights and mounted on bipods. He was found to have fired a total of 1,058 rounds from 15 of the firearms. And he killed himself with a Smith & Wesson. Jesus. In the months preceding the shooting, he had attempted to purchase tracer ammunition. Why? Is there an advantage to this, or does it just look cooler? Jesus. How many did he kill? Like 50 or 60, I guess? Feedback? Maybe at really far ranges, maybe the feedback is important. I feel like you would figure out the room that you would rent ahead of time, and then you would just measure the distance between the room and your target, and then you would just go to a range, like do an outdoor range like a week or 2 weeks before and make sure everything is zeroed at the ranges you plan to be shooting at, because you should know where you're going to be, right? And then you would have it all set up ahead of time. I don't know if he did that or not. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Who knows? But maybe regardless, maybe you still actually want like the visual feedback, especially because depending on how far you're shooting from, it might be some time before the bullet even lands, so you can't tell where it's even going. Maybe? I don't know. Who knows? I've never done a mass shooting before.
Into existence Governor Walz for vice president.
These are weird people on the other side. They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. I've got a 23-year-old who told me TikTok is on fire. Go ahead and continue to denigrate people. Go ahead. My God, they went after cat people. Good luck with that. Turn on the internet and see what cat people do when you go after them.
Oh no. You know who this guy reminds me of? I haven't like watched any videos of him. You know who this reminds me of? Who can get it in chat? Fuck me, I just got the biggest fucking vibes. I'll give you 10 seconds. Oh my God, you know who I just got huge vibes of? Do you remember when I debated that crazy fucking lady and she brought on that one like Dan Blitzerian type guy, Tony? And I thought it was gonna be like a 2v1, and Tony was just like this like aggressively normal guy, and he was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like you're being a little bit weird. You're kind of being crazy or whatever. That's what he reminds me of. He's like, why are you shitting on cat people? What's up? What do you want?
Just a heads up, your guest got there a bit early, so he's in the lobby right now.
Wow, that sounds like a problem for him. Do you know if Dan's here? Or?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'll message him and check.
Okay. I have fun tonight.
Fuck. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to leave.
Good luck with that. Turn on the internet and see what cat people do when you go after them.
Don't fuck with cats.
It'd be funny if it wasn't so sad. They see the least fortunate among us as scapegoats and punchlines for them. Kamala Harris and Democrats see them as our neighbor. Get sugarcoating this. These are weird ideas. Listen to them speak. Listen how they talk about things. Told them that they shouldn't talk about race.
Like, how did this flip so much? Because remember, this was the issue that Hillary ran into before, right? When she called them all deplorables. And somehow the narrative like 180'd on conservatives here because they were just so negative. But I think also, I feel like it plays a little bit into, Trump could run on Make America Great Again the first time because people were unhappy. But how do you run on Make America Great Again after you've already had the presidency for 4 years? Or maybe that's why it went more negative, because it doesn't really make sense You have to be negative at that point to explain why you failed, like every populist has to be. Like, why did I fail? And then you have to blame other people, and it gets really ugly and gross.
These are weird ideas. Listen to them speak. Listen how they talk about things. Told them that they shouldn't talk about race. They can't help it. It is built into their DNA because there is no plan. There's no healthcare plan. There's no healthcare plan. There's nothing to do on this.
Deplorables was a bad word. We're just hits. Well, it's not so much the fact that it's not the word choice. It's that when you call people a name, like a deplorable or whatever, you're implying the person is bad because of who they are. But I think when he's calling people weird here, you're implying that they're bad because of how they're acting. I think it's a difference.
Want to take away our alliances and leave Russia to do whatever they want. The minute they all step on the stage, the American people have lost. Are they going to debate who can ban the most books? The same old failed policies. Instead of putting out a memo like that, tell us what your health care plan is. Donald Trump told us he would do that on day one back in 2017. There's nothing there.
But you've legalized recreational marijuana, you passed universal background checks on guns, you expanded LGBTQ protections, you implemented tuition-free college for low-income Minnesotans. There's free breakfast and lunch for school kids.
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies. So
oh, yeah. Wasn't there like an attack ad that said that or something? I feel like I saw that in a Republican attack ad. Or was that a meme? Was that not true? Where they had listed a bunch of shit that he'd done? And I was like, wait, I don't know if this is an attack ad or if this is like a supporting political ad. I can't tell whose side this is even on. Like, I think I've seen a couple of those, but one was like really weird because I think it included that lunches for kids. And I'm like, why the fuck would you put this in an attack ad? Unless I'm making this up. I might have been Twitter brained on that. I'm not sure.
So they can go learn, and women are making their own healthcare decisions. And we're a top 5 business state, and we also rank in the top 3 of happiness. To think that any way this is normal. You got a former president that thinks calling names and spreading lies is the way to get people. They're continuing to shrink the electorate on their side. Their ceiling and their floor are the same, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So I'm just excited. What I know is that people like J.D. Vance know nothing about small town America. My town had 400 people in it. 24 kids in my graduating class, 12 were cousins, and he gets it all wrong. It's not about hate. It's not about collapsing in. The golden rule there is mind your own damn business. Donald Trump talked about infrastructure. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris built bridges, built roads. So, look, they are bad on foreign policy. They are bad on the environment. They certainly have no health care plan, and they keep talking about the middle class that, as I said, a robber baron real estate guy and a venture capitalist trying to tell us they understand who we are. They don't know.
Bays, that's a Destiny viewer right there. Good job. Yes, you can take my talking points.
Who we are. That angst that J.D. Vance talks about in Hillbilly Elegy, none of my hillbilly cousins went to Yale, and none of them went on to be venture capitalists or whatever. The situation in Gaza is intolerable, and I think trying to find a solution, a lasting 2-state solution, certainly the president's move towards humanitarian aid and asking us to get to a ceasefire, that's what they're asking to be heard, and that's what they should be doing.
Okay. Fuck, we didn't even get to make fun of these guys today. All right, I love you guys. I'm going downstairs. We've got a special guest today on Anything Else called Totally Not Mark. Wow.
Animation is cinema. In bottle
Good meme. Okay. Good luck. I'll be live in a bit. If it's late, it's because I totally fucked up that auto switcher, and I'm going to spend an hour trying to work the logics out on it. So good luck. Good luck. I'll hopefully see you guys in a bit. Rip.